This juicy giant roast is tasty and it's cheap.
Oh.
Thanks to PITMASTERX Smokers for sponsoring this video.
I'm going to show you how to make cheap barbecue for lots and lots of people. And the first thing that you're going to need is inexpensive meat. And that's why I selected this beautiful chuck roll. It's a huge piece of meat that weighs 5 kilograms or 10 pounds and it can feed loads and loads of people. A chuck roll like this has multiple muscles combined and it's normally referred to as a technical cut. Something that butchers buy and then cut up into specific steaks that they need for their customers. But we just went all out and bought the whole thing. That already is the first way to save money. Do a little bit of work yourself, save some money. Now of course it also comes with some technical difficulties. You see, this is not the most tender cut of beef you can get and therefore we need to process it to make it more tender. And the first trick that we're going to apply is cutting it up and butterflying the whole thing. The way that it works is we're going to take a long knife, make a first incision and then just follow that up. Long strokes. With a large cut like this, it's very likely that I'm going to get some holes, but that doesn't matter in the end because we will all bind it up together and the holes will kind of disappear on itself. The whole idea here is that we make it as tender as possible. Now look at the quality of beef that is hidden inside of this beautifully cheap jam. And now it's butterflied. That is the first stage of preparing this beautiful piece. But what really stands out is that you buy something inexpensive, but you get so much beautiful beef. You know it's going to be flavorful, you know it's going to render down beautifully because of all the fat that sits inside. So of course a big piece of meat deserves a lot of seasoning. And I'm going to start with the PITMASTERX Texas seasoning. That's going to be my first layer of flavor in this beautiful piece of beef. Sprinkle it out. The next thing that I'm going to do is put on charcuterie. I'm going to start with layers of raw ham. And this is going to bring lots and lots of flavor to this roast. And even though you have a cheaper cut of beef, this is going to be very, very expensive after you stuffed it with all the charcuterie. Now I'm going to follow that up with some ham. Some salami. And of course, some cheese. Of course, that cheese is going to melt down and make everything rich and creamy. Personally, I like a little bit of hot sauce on mine, but that's definitely optional. A little bit of surprising heat every now and then. And now the challenging part of holding it back up again. Make sure that you got everything going in, nice and tight. There we go. Back to its original state. But now look at this monster. It's almost double the size that it used to be. Time to tie it up with some butcher's twine. I'm always cutting off more butcher's twine than I think I'm gonna need, just to make sure I have plenty. And the first thing that I'm gonna do is make a loop. And then put the end through the loop. And that's my start to tie the whole roast up. Making sure that I close everything so that when the cheese melts, it doesn't all fall out. Then I'm going to make another loop about 2 fingers apart. And just keep doing that until you have the whole roast looped up, tied up. As you can see, this is super easy to do. So even if you don't know how to do it, just give it a try. You'll learn by doing. First time it might not be that pretty, but the second time, I promise you, it's going to look amazing. And the good thing is you did it yourself. So again, you save some money. Make sure you check the other side to see if everything is okay and just put it in place. If it's not, don't worry about that too much. Pull it through, tie it off. There we go. Of course, I want a beautiful crust on the outside of this roast. And the crust comes with building up flavor. That's why I'm gonna rub it with some mustard first. That mustard is going to be a binder that holds all the flavors together on the meat. I'm just going to rub it in all sides. Don't be afraid to add too much mustard because the mustard is going to be cooked. It's going to be a gentle singy flavor at the end of this cook. Now I'm going to add flavor to it by putting on some deli seasoning. And deli stands for delicacy, which means we're going to get lots of delicious flavors on this roast. You see how that yellow now becomes orange? That's going to make the roast look good. It's going to build up a crust. And don't be afraid to tap it Make sure that the seasoning sticks to the roast. This roast is easily gonna feed 20 people, so you wanna make sure all of them get lots and lots of flavor. Now that the roast is all seasoned up, it's ready to go on the barbecue. First thing that I'm gonna do is set the temperature to smoke at 140 degrees Celsius, which is around 290 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm gonna add some beech wood chips. I'm going to stick a wireless thermometer in the roast, and then the roast is going to go on the top rack in the barbecue. Wow, what a unit! And then a dripping tray underneath, just to make sure that if this thing starts dripping juices, we catch some of that. I can already see a little bit of smoke starting to come. We'll check back in about 5 minutes to see how it's doing. And in the meantime, all I need to do is close the lid and just let the smoker do its thing. I've been smoking this roast now for 3 hours and it's not done yet. But the way that it looks is most definitely appealing. This thing is starting to turn into an absolutely delicious dream of a roast. I've got a nice dark brown bark, the cheese is melting on the sides, and it shines like a dream. I'm going to quickly close the lid again so it can continue to smoke. It is time to put on the glove because we're going to take out the roast. Yeah, it's been 5 hours, almost 5 hours, 2 minutes. But this thing is a beast. How am I going to get this out? First, the thermometer out. There we go. Yes, sir, I know. Got it. Ready. Jeez. Whoa. Oh, wowzers. What a monster. Wow. Whoa, look at that. It's got such a beautiful bark. Nice and dry on the outside, super crusty. And most of that is because of the mustard with the seasoning, holding it together, and then looking so beautiful like this. Of course, an important element is the hot air and the higher temperature that's going to help you build up that crust. Now, I've cooked this to a core temperature of 57 degrees Celsius. And the reason I wanted a higher temperature than a normal roast is because I want the fat to melt. So I want to go a little over medium rare, just to make sure the fat melts as much as it can. Now I want to slice into it, but I gotta wait first. I gotta give this at least 30 minutes, a roast of this size, just to cool down a little bit, relax, let it stress out, and then the juices and moisture will redistribute throughout the meat. But what a beauty. Insane. All right, I had my enough of waiting. Let's go slice into this roast. There we go. Ooh, I see that there's a little soft fat right there. Slice, slice. And with slicing, you always want to make sure you have as little cuts as possible. Ooh, do you see the knife dripping? Oh, that's a good sign. All right, without further ado, here it comes. Well, if you have guests over and they're standing around when you slice into this, yep, you're gonna get reactions. The second trick is to slice it really thin, because it's not the most tender cut. And the thinner you slice it, the more tender it's going to appear once you bite into it. And that is exactly what I'm going to do now. Oh, it's going to be messy. That is good.
I gotta roll into this because
That is not what we agreed on.
I wanted to come earlier in the show. You know? This looks so good. Oh,
It's that I'm so satisfied with the meat and that we have plenty of it that I'm not too worried about it. But
oh, this is good.
for a chuck roll, it's surprisingly tender if you do it like this. Slice it thin, butterfly it, fill it up, plenty of flavor there.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
So
that was
good.
it.
That was it.
Yeah.
Do I have to go now?
Well, then maybe you do the subtitle and slice another piece. Just
Okay.
to the ending.
All right, guys, go to our website. We have plenty of rubs there, a new pan, all kinds of cool accessories. And I'm getting distracted. Can I?
Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one. Thank you, Jim, for your support.
This was mental support.
And your cooperative behavior. No, seriously. Leave us a comment. See you guys next time.